best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Thank you for joining. This is Discover Crypto, where we're never 5 minutes late. Thank you for joining in. Jump on in, hit that like button, everybody, because we got to warn you about a very scary Bitcoin level that we just hit minutes ago. And we're going to try to tell you what we think the next move is. We got some insane alt news, and we had a crypto brawl break out in a country's parliament. Yes, they're literally politicians fighting over crypto in the chambers. We got the video. It is wild. And we're back here with TJ and Josh. How are you folks doing today?
Feeling great.
Feeling good. Feeling good. Feels good to be back in the studio. I'll eventually be able to make my way to the main stage once we get this.
It's a dress code here.
Out.
Yeah. No, I'll take responsibility here. We've been fighting with the audio, going through different computers. It's really hard when you've got two people right across from each other, all three of us in the same room, close together. I've gone through 3 different computers, several different microphones, 2 different soundboards, several different cables. But at some point, we're going to get this sound controlled and working well.
Some point. Yeah, we had a great weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. I got hit with a tornado over the weekend. It touched down a couple miles away from my home. I had all types of damage. I was without power till almost midnight last night. So I'm missing out a little bit, but we're catching up this morning. And Josh, did you have any storm damage, any kind of high wind, anything like that?
No, just the sirens went off. And we just had to do the shelter stuff. The original... You know, we're not in the Midwest. It felt like being back home in Chicago, you know, except I didn't realize
I saw
you guys
Bill
got
Paxton.
tomatoes out here.
Yeah, I saw Bill Paxton. I'm sorry, that was an old 1996 Twister reference there. But
I even went over my head.
Who's the new one?
I saw a cow. I saw a cow floating around in the sky,
it.
everybody.
I
There we
get
go.
that one.
Cow
Let's look at speaking of flying around, how about these crypto prices? Because things are starting to fly right now, but they're actually about to start plummeting. It looks more like Bitcoin is up slightly, but it's only up 0.2%. You can see a little bit of a pullback in the last hour. Solana down about 0.8%. Cardano with a nice little pump. I shorted Cardano over the weekend. We're going to reveal the trade later on. Is DZ still in profit? I kept the last part of the trade just for you DJs out there so we could see and we could check in on that. But not too much major movement in the top 10. If we go to the top 100, though, you can see Pancake Swap with a huge pump, 44%. TKX, another exchange token, also up 7.2, 7.8. And Arbitrum also up as well, followed by another exchange token. And Pepe, I might even pull up the Pepe chart later. There's a upside down head and shoulders pattern that is forming. Looks like other traders have identified that. Looks like maybe DZ should have pulled the trigger on that one. And if we look at the biggest losers, not too much.
After that, Veteran Crypto's asking for you to check out Plume. I don't know if it's up or down. I imagine
Plume, huge news for Plume, everybody.
Ripping. It's up 100% since.
The rebranded Binance Labs did an investment in Plume over the weekend. If I go to their X account, we should be able to see it here. I'm imagining they're going to repost something here. Yeah, so this is new Binance Labs. They've rebranded January, so about 2 months ago. They've now called themselves YZI Labs. Why do y'all think this is? Why do you think they changed from Binance Labs?
I mean, I have an idea, but go ahead, Josh, if you want to go first.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
This is all. Yeah, I haven't read the article, but if I was thinking just pragmatically from them, this is a branding, positioning, a distancing from Binance just a little bit, just so if you're going to be making investments in US-based companies, you kind of want a little distance there because it's very much
Binance brand stinks to high heavens.
Yeah, it's turned into
American regulators,
right? It's East versus West, basically. If you're in the U.S., they're going to be like, oh no, we're anti-Binance. So I'm not surprised at all to see the VC arm with a little bit of more, I don't know, a little more obfuscation of who they really are. I guess not uncommon.
All right. And yeah, you can see on their post here, if you read down at the bottom, thank you, YZI Labs and CZ Binance, all our investors, and most importantly, our community for believing in our vision. Follow CZ, go ahead and buy the @CZ. I'm sure that person, there's a price I'm sure they'd be willing to pay. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart here. I said this yellow line, very, very important. I'm going to reveal what this means momentarily, but we just touched down on it 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes ago. So very, very important level. We're going to tell you why it's important. But Josh, how are you feeling about some of these levels? Heading into the week, are you bullish or bearish on Bitcoin? Because we're going to talk about some FUD in a little bit.
I mean, I'm pretty optimistic of this SPX here. I think, dude, we're 2 days away from this. We'll be live covering it on the 19th. The FOMC meeting's right around the corner. Insanely positive inflation results coming out of the markets here, especially just looking at month over month. So I'm expecting a pretty decent drawback again in the next data reporting. So I think you can confidently assume. I didn't think we were going to get it at this FOMC meeting, but we're looking at least minimum May now for the Feds to announce that they're ending QT, and that could come out of the meeting here tomorrow now, as Jerome Powell might be looking at markets sort of struggling, but I don't think he's going to make any political plays here. So I'm expecting a very bullish announcement tomorrow, and if we get that confirmation there, the upside's playing here on the rest of the week for the SPX, and Bitcoin's going to follow suit.
Can you add your screen for me when you get a second? Screen share.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we got people saying that monthly candle looking a little scary. We're going to talk about some of these larger time frames on Bitcoin. Speaking of that, Bitcoin's showing weakness below $80,000. We go to the current price right now. If we're checking where is Bitcoin as we speak, 83K. So we're still about 3K away before the danger zone. But the supply is noticeably thin between 70 and 80K. If the price slips into that range, supply gap could potentially signal limited buying activity. And this is because we skyrocketed from the low 70s to the low 80s during the run-up. And so because of that, barely anybody under the sun bought any Bitcoin in this level. It's going to have some bearish momentum or some bearish indicators here because of that. Since we've seen most of the Trump trade gains erased, to fully realize the retracement on Bitcoin, we expect to see prices around 73,000, which is where Bitcoin was in November pre-election. This would complete the cycle, remove hype from the market, and then allow Bitcoin to continue based on fundamentals and global perception. And so we need a little bit of a deleveraging to remove the hype, maybe clear up this area, and then that's when people could still start feeling bullish. And maybe that's why the miners are dumping. Dormant whales and miners cashed out. Bitcoin is 75K. We're right now fluctuating around the 83K level, but the recovery comes as a potential retest of a broken trend line. And now we're going to talk about that little yellow line. Now, this is, I saw, as far as the miners go, Ollie posting here, Bitcoin miners have cashed in over $27 million in profit. When you see the little purple line of what miners are selling, miners realize profit. Giant spike there over the weekend there. So big dump from the miners. Let's talk about that yellow line. In the daily chart, the price trend showcases a lower price rejection that is gradually gaining momentum. The rejections are gaining momentum like DZ in middle school, everybody. And we're looking at this area right here. And with this area, we're going to pull up the Fibonacci, a potential downfall to 75K or potential upswing to 91K. So let's dive into the charts here. So this is the yellow line that we're looking at right here. And so when we zoomed in on the 5 minute, what's incredible is, wait a minute, no, that's a different one. That's a different one. So when we zoom in on the 5 minute here, yeah, look at that, folks, right above us, acting as resistance. When you zoom in out to the daily, you can see it's a very, very important level. This is dating all the way back to August 2024. You see it hitting September 2024. Touchdown, wick below it back in the early parts of March. And right now it is acting as resistance for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin does have a little bit of some pain ahead potentially. And when we pull out the fib extension here, zoom out a little bit, kind of looking at the levels. So above us, I got 96, 95, depending on where you're going to draw it out. But below us, that 0.5, 75K. You can see it right there. So we're right now battling the Fibonacci levels, literally kind of just stuck in the center with the 618 acting as a magnet. Josh, if you had it determined, are we hitting 95 or 75 first? What is your guess here?
I mean, honestly, this is going to be a hot take with 95K. Yeah,
95K.
Look, I mean, and I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but it's just you're at a point where every single person is calling for, like, when it said we need to eliminate the hype at 72K, the hype's dead. There is no hype in crypto right now. It has been gone for weeks at this point, and now everybody has transitioned from, you know, being hyped up within the crypto market to blame and capitulation and fear and anger. And that's kind of like the psychological perspective I get from this sector. So, you know, to say that we have to go to 73 to watch this, you know, deleveraging of positions and wipe out that existing hype that exists, I don't think it, like, where is it? I'm trying to find, and we're very cautiously optimistic here on this channel. We're all bulls here. But I mean, if let's be honest with themselves, we've seen people have been freaking out that the SPX has been down for the last 25 days. And there's a bunch of very bullish indicators, by the way, on the horizon here. So whether, like, it has to happen soon. If it doesn't happen soon, we're looking at that 95K level, and I'll show up. I'm trying to find, it's right here. I pulled this up as well. The last few weeks here, like, while people were panicking here and that hype was drained out of this market, this was a very interesting article released by the Copassai letter. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but the letter here from Bank of America. So Bank of America Global Investment Strategy released this just last week for the month of March. And their wealthiest clients, their private client flows of into equities, hit a percentage they haven't seen since September 2022. And for anybody that doesn't know this, this is a very interesting take here, in my opinion, because September 2022 is, by definition, the bottom of the Biden-Harris recession. For some reason, people like to forget that we were in. The SPX dropped by 35%. We had 2 negative quarters of GDP growth within the United States economy. They tried mumbo jumboing and changing definitions in books, but any textbook recession would have classified this as a massive drawback. And they bought the exact dip. This isn't an attack politically. They bought the dip and the exact bottom there, or at least started dollar cost averaging. So for the first time since then, we've had a massive spike in a lot of these equities being purchased in March of this month. So, you know, to me, I'm like, look, we could have more downside here. Even in September, I think it drew back like another 5%, but we're scraping the bottom of that barrel. And I think 73 to 75K, it's you're really scraping for those pennies if you're trying to play that that side of the market.
Yeah, not to mention, you know, September 22 is the bottom of the overall market, but then you had November 2022 was the absolute bottom of crypto. That was when the FTX collapsed. That's when we saw a $16,000 Bitcoin and some of that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's a good metrics to keep your eye on. I mean, we haven't been anywhere close to that kind of, you know, oversold pressure since then. So yeah, I agree. I think, you know, we've talked about it a little bit last week. We've talked about it on the show. You guys have heard me say this before. If you guys are long-term investors, if you believe in this market, it's not about buying the exact bottom. It's about buying close to the bottom and selling close to the top. You don't have to nail the exact bottom. And we are, anything below 80K to me is an incredible buy opportunity. I mean, you guys, for the last few weeks, we've been saying on this channel, these are buying opportunities. You know, specifically for Bitcoin in the majors, but also if you have a high conviction altcoin you love, I guarantee it's been beat down dramatically over the last several months because everything has. And these are the generational entries where, and it's kind of one of the things I love about crypto. This is a time when you can get an entry, even though you didn't buy the Pico bottom in 2022, like we were also screaming to buy then. And there was great entries in 2022. You had plenty of time all through 2023. Okay, then we start to get some bullish momentum into 24 and into 25. And now you've gotten a perfect pause in the middle of this bull rally. We're in the middle of a bullish uptrend. You got a 30% drawdown. You got altcoins absolutely wiped out. This is the time to really load up and get in. And that's what I love about crypto is it gives you so many opportunities to make life-changing gains and life-changing money. So when you see this big fear, when you see drawdowns like Josh just mentioned, that's really perfect that, you know, you can see those spikes, or like that minor spike that DZ showed. Those are going to create opportunities. Don't look at these things as fear. Don't look at these things as reasons to get out. A lot of you guys in the chat know this. You've been here for a long time. So you see these opportunities, you get excited. You say, hey, look, I'm buying. I'm in this for the long term. I'm putting my check into it. But if you're new and you haven't been doing crypto and Bitcoin very long, hey, if you're new, we're here every single day. If you need somebody to talk to, we're here every Monday through Friday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, maybe 10:35, maybe 10:40. You never know. But we're here every Monday through Friday. So if you have questions, come here, ask them, join the Discord. We'll help get you answers. But if you have been here, you know this is an opportunity, and that's what gets me super excited. There's always new opportunities in crypto. whether it's in Bitcoin, whether it's in the latest hot altcoin fad that's going to come and go. There's always opportunity. But
all right, and I see a lot of people talking about Trump. We got to bring up Trump later on. Trump made new additions to his portfolio. I know there's a lot of hot comments, a lot of hot opinions about that man.
You got the super chat here for you, DZ. Are you still planning to DCA out of this bull run in September like you usually do? What are your DCA plans for this cycle? Any different? You demand. That's from Mac Baby.
Yeah, without, just saying, oh yeah, for sure, 100% going to do that. Yeah, I still plan on starting the DCA process probably around September, potentially maybe October, maybe even July. But instead of being 90-10 time versus price, I'm actually getting a little bit closer to 50-50 because the 4-year cycle looks like they're trying to change up what we can expect, where top December 2017, November 2021, October 2025. I thought I was smart by saying, well, maybe August, September, I'm going to try to front run things. Now you got to be a little bit more liquid. You got to be a little bit more fluid with your positions and what actions you're going to take. But I will let you guys know. We're going to be discussing it with the Disco fan. We'll all, either tighten our bell bottoms together, or we're all just going to be, moonwalking in a glorious victory. There's no in between for me. That's for sure. I'm either selling kidneys or, we're on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
But we did have some major moves with Bitcoin shorts over the weekend. There's, we got some more fun stuff here before we try to talk you off the ledge. While you enjoyed your weekend, while I was battling tornadoes, this guy shorted Bitcoin on 40x leverage. $8 million account created a $300 million short sale. Currently, now we're going to update this, but he had a liquidation price. So let's see how it played out, because whales tried to stop hunt this guy. And so he just kept adding funds, sticking with the short there. I'm going to go through just the up and down swings of his profit and losses, and we'll jump into an article. So he went into 1 million profit, and then the 1 million profit turned into $500,000 loss. And then that turned into 5 million profit. And then he added to the short. He's 5 million in profit. He doesn't cash out. He adds to the short. Well, after that, then the profit went up to almost 7 million. Then he held on all the way down to a $2 million negative. Fast forward to the end here, folks. It was up and down. It was up and down. He ended it by single-handedly pumping Melania coin after he did a 5x on Melania. So everybody started watching this guy's wallet. This guy is insane, everybody. He ends up shorting $500 million once it's all said and done. Took a bullish bet on Melania token, and everything is on chain on the hyperliquid data. And while he was betting bullish on the token, so a group of traders made a failed attempt to liquidate this giant Bitcoin short. I'm going to show you a tweet that's pretty funny, everybody. And so we started making a slide after this trader invited other whales, a consortium of bulls, a consortium of whales. Let's liquidate this degen. All right, whales, let's get together. We're going to buy Bitcoin, and we're going to hunt this whale who shorted with 40x later. An hour later, the team's in action. It's like your favorite politicians with the Avengers theme. And they started driving the price above in a short period. That's why that guy started losing millions of money. But that's why he ended up increasing his margin, and he avoided liquidation, and the hunt ultimately failed. If we go to the post here, there's a funny comment. So he still managed to turn a profit despite being hunted by a team. Let's see. We scroll here. Here we go. If they asked a few billionaires to hunt the fund, the whale would have been liquidated quickly. They would have needed 200 to 500 million in funding to cause the liquidation price. Next time, just ask the billionaires. So don't ask the 100 millionaires. You got to ask the billionaires. But battles on the blockchain over the weekend, were you guys in the streets or did you stay away?
I mean, I wasn't taking longs or shorts, but it was fun to watch. It's interesting. I think Kelly was breaking it down too from BitLab Academy, and I said, these are the type of heavyweight bouts I like to see. It's hard to know what's real.
It's better than Paul Tyson. It was a lot better than that.
Yeah. Well, it's really crazy to watch. I mean, obviously. We were talking in the office a little bit. The lore over the weekend was from that Josh Mandela guy too. A lot of people talking about his calls and those bets. But it's fun seeing open order books, seeing all this stuff on chain, being able to. I mean, obviously, if you're that guy that's putting that much on the line, you don't want somebody stop loss hunting you like that. I mean, that wouldn't be cool. But yeah, it's fun to watch. It's entertaining, and it's it's the financial games that play, and the level of competition is getting greater. The amount of money that we're seeing pooled in here is getting larger. And this is just something good to keep in mind, guys. Know that these are the people you're trading against. And this is why we watch, we use those liquidity charts all the time to see where the liquidity is, because the price often goes to where the whales are incentivized to take it. So the more you can understand this stuff, the more you can follow this stuff along, most likely the more successful trader you're going to be over time.
Did you see the Mandel guy, Josh?
No, not yet. I remember I was
right.
I was
sick.
dead last week, so
Yeah.
I have some catching up to
He's
do
catching
on
up.
the shorts and
Yeah,
everything.
I caught up this morning. Like I said, I was battling no power. I didn't have internet. Well, we had, just on the phone. But yeah, so it's this guy right here. He ended up opening a giant trade.
I thought you were gonna be like Nelson
you
Mandela
got
or
me.
something. I'm
No, no,
wait,
surprised he
hold on.
wasn't Mandela.
No, it's Josh Mandel, everybody.
Yeah.
Josh Mandel. So not Howie. It's they don't look anything alike. All right. I maybe took y'all on a little side trip there, but Josh Mandel is a retired Wall Street trader with some of the most impressive credentials. He worked at Salomon Brothers during the heyday. Let's see. He also was a trader at Caxton Associates, yada, yada, yada. But why should you trust his Bitcoin judgment? Well, as Bitcoin says, don't trust, verify. And he's been trading Bitcoin and MicroStrategy in public for the last year. And you can see all his trades in his history. He seeded his portfolio with $2. No, it's 2 million. So he seeded it with 2 million about a year ago. Now, $22 million. And that does not account for today's pop in MicroStrategy, so probably even higher now. And he's trading with leverage, so maybe 25 million. You can see it right here. He's had a couple losses on the daily, but focus on the total gains, total losses. You can see a lot of good trades. I think the weakest trade only made $2,000. If we look here, so that's the weakest one. The biggest trade made $5 million, $4.3 million right there. And so you can see the total right there down on the bottom, made $22 million. But let's cut to the chase here. Why are we talking about Mandel? Because Mandel, they're calling him the prophet here. Here's the original post of the prophecy. This man said Bitcoin was going to be $84,000 on Pi Day, 3/14/2025, when 84 becomes the base. Bitcoin calls will melt their face. He literally did it in a poem form here, but if we fast forward to the end.
And what's the date on that? When did he make this prediction? At the bottom there?
This was 100 and
No,
it says on the
wait,
top.
it was right there. It was on the screenshot. I just couldn't read it. Go back.
I was going to say
Click on that.
129 days ago, I believe.
Click, and right there at the bottom, it says the date. I just can't see
November 5th right there. So made it months and months ago. So we called it 84K. It was going to be Bitcoin's price. It was above 100K or, knocking on the door. But if we scroll to here, when 84 is on the dot, the car will launch a real whole shot. Feel the G's, hear the roar. The coin won't stop, 360 more. A trio of fours times a grand, that's the top. The Bitcoin fades. This is how a cowboy trades. So he is calling for a $444,000 Bitcoin for the top this cycle.
Yeah. And what was
a little bit high to me.
Hey,
folks,
it's definitely high, but I'll take it. The other thing that was interesting, and I can't find it right this minute, is somebody took a bet with him, I'm pretty sure it was like a 7-figure bet, and he basically said, "I'll say the date and the price, and you tell me if you'll call this bet." And he basically, this was back, I think around in January, he said, "I'll bet you on 3/14 the price of Bitcoin is going to be $84,000," and this was last Friday. And so obviously, if you guys remember Friday, we pumped late in the day, like around from 82 to 84, and then right at 5 p.m. it was 84 on the dot. And he ended up winning that major bet. I can't find that tweet, but obviously that's what made people get really excited. People that have been following it along, and now he's a new favorite in the Bitcoin, crypto Bitcoin community, and fun one to follow. I am going to keep an eye on his portfolio. If you guys do trade MicroStrategy, calls and puts, he's definitely a good one to keep an eye on, because he went long, wrote it up, went short, wrote it back down, then flipped long again, back around the price of 80K on Bitcoin. So might be another portfolio to keep an eye on, kind of like that World Liberty Fi one. So.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish the Cardano short. I shorted Cardano over the weekend here. It looks like we got in at 74 cents, 7487. So at 75 cents, I shorted Cardano. If we go to the 15-minute chart, you can see where I got my entry. So we got a great entry over the weekend. I could smell it. I could smell the blood in the streets. I may have seen the 50x short or the 40x short. I was like, all right, I'll bet on it going down. I closed most of the trade. I want to keep some of it open for you folks. We were 155% in profit. Like I said, we have closed most of the trade, but I'm going to close in finality. And we got this is L Bank that we're using. hit the market close, boom, locked in the rest of the profit. And if you want to get your trades on, we got a link down below. And I'll post a lot of them as well on my X account there. But huge shorts in the market. But I can see why with the ETP outflows here, 1.7 billion. I just want to talk about some of the streaks here. 17 straight days of outflows. This is the longest negative streak since they started keeping records of Bitcoin ETP. The ongoing streak, 17 days, longest streak ever. And year to date, it's still positive, though.
For the people at home, ETP is exchange traded product.
Yeah, it's like an ETFs are a type of ETPs. ETPs a little bit less rules. But the outflows, $5.5 billion in 5 weeks. We're little bit in the green. We're kind of in the positive, but it was shrinking and shrinking. I don't know if you recall last week, we're like, all right, guys, we're still in the positive 2.9. It's like, all right, guys, we're still in the positive like 1.4. All right, guys, we're still in the positive 900 million. And now that we're below $1 billion, starts to get a little bit scary there. Ether and Ether, Solana, they also had outflows. But XRP community, smash the like button if you're in the XRP community. XRP went against the trend and actually had minor inflows of 1.8. Minor inflows also, never mind, I'm not going to make a Diddy joke. But anyways, Josh, just take it away. I have no follow-up for that.
All right.
You have the rundown today, man. You ran in, you painted yourself into
ran to a wall.
there.
All right, here we go. We got a super chat here. Hey guys, do you think the 4-year crypto cycles are over? Thank you for saving us, Nels, with the super chat. What do you guys think?
It's gonna, we answer this on the Friday stream. I think this cycle is going to be greatly diminished, but it'll still have an impact. I think next cycle could potentially be the last one. And it's only because the miners' size of impact is negligible compared to the whales at this point. Before whales, the miners had all the power, just diminishing and diminishing because they barely scrape any Bitcoin every 10 minutes at these points.
Yeah, I'd also just say it has to end. Like people that don't want the 4-year cycle to end, it has to. Bitcoin is a commodity, which means there's going to be a point if the SEC and every single organization is classifying as such and starts trading as such, the rest of the altcoin sector is going to one day just trade as risk on assets, and Bitcoin is going to trade more or less like gold in a commodity. And so there's a point, whether it's this cycle or next cycle, if you, with the adoption curve we're seeing in terms of Bitcoin, if you start retaining those high market caps of 4 trillion, 6 trillion, 8 trillion, etc., it's going to trade completely separately. And so you won't be able to use that as justification on why maybe the rest of the market is moving. It's going to follow similar to gold, where if gold's pumping, it's because stocks are kind of dropping. And you might start seeing the similarities, I would imagine within 4 years from now. So it's just something to be aware of. Don't be scared of it. Don't be using it as an absolute metric. You could also argue that it already broke. I mean, Bitcoin hit all-time highs before its Bitcoin halving this cycle that we're currently in. And there's already kind of cracks in that surface of the 4-year cycle that people like to kind of project. However, a 4-year cycle is going to almost always occur. And whether that's lightly or, how big in the magnitude we've seen it in the past. And that's because of presidential elections. And Satoshi Nakamoto, when he released the Bitcoin white paper, it will change over time, but however many dates it's kind of adjusted by. Every 4 years, you do get volatility around those presidential cycles. So that's also something you got to take into consideration. But in terms of Bitcoin being a 4-year cycle, or the entire crypto market being a 4-year cycle, they're soon going to branch off because they're going to become and be utilized as a mature asset class.
Yeah, see, this is interesting. This is why I like all three of us, because we all generally agree with just a little bit of nuance behind each one. Because I would say I agree with what you're saying, Josh, in the sense that it's not going to be the same. I would say the 4-year cycle is evolving, but it's never going to go away. Not anything to do with presidential cycles, in my opinion, but because it's still supply and demand economics. Like every year when the supply gets cut, yes, it's going to be less of a supply cut each time. It's always 50%, but the difference between 6.5 and 3.25 isn't as dramatic as 12 to 6.5 or whatever, 13, whatever that was. So, but I think with this market, it is maturing. It's not, the 4-year cycle will always stay in place. We'll always see long, upward movement after the halving because less is being created and you have to spend more to get it out. That does drive it, but I think it's going to be less and less and less each time. I do think it will mirror much more of the traditional markets. And once a lot of it's bought and held by long-term holders, there's less volatility. So I think we're going to see reduced volatility and reduced impact from it. But I do think it will always have some impact, if that makes sense, because it's just like saying, if they were the only thing that has a schedule of getting less and less and less like that is Bitcoin. And I think people compare it to stocks all the time, and I can understand why they do, but it's not a stock, and it is a commodity, and it's a commodity with a set supply, and that set supply is going down. The set supply of emission is going down every 4 years. And so it's unlike anything else that's on the market right now. Gold is actually, this was a fascinating stat I saw. I think it was like 50% of the gold in circulation right now was mined in the last 30 years or something like that. Maybe since the 70s. I can't remember exactly, but they've been mining gold at a much, much faster rate these past several years, past few decades, than they were for a long time before that. And that's because the technology for getting gold out of the ground is getting better. You hear people talk about getting gold out of the, all the precious metals out of space, all the asteroids, all that sort of stuff. So the supply of gold is actually going up faster, whereas the supply of Bitcoin is going up slower than anything else. So in that reason alone, the halving will always have an impact. But all those other things, all those other factors will come into play, and everything. I agree with everything you guys said too. So it's a fun conversation.
PSC asked an important question. What the hell happened with the Fort Knox gold? We're still waiting for that live stream. And shout out to the gold bugs out there. You are up above $3,000 again today. It's been a little bit touch and go. If we look at the last 5 days, we spiked above it on Friday and then dipped as low as about $29.91, $29.94, as low as $29.94 today. So gold bugs celebrating with the 3K ounce there. Now, TJ, besides Satoshi Nakamoto, what name comes to mind when I say Bitcoin?
Michael Saylor.
Michael Saylor bought the dip. He finally bought the dip.
But
it was his smallest Bitcoin purchase on record. What the hell is this guy smoking, man? So the latest buy was the smallest ever announced Bitcoin purchase by the firm. He finally gets it on sale. And he penny pinches. And so the world's largest corporate Bitcoin holder has announced its smallest Bitcoin purchase on record. They end up paying $82,981 per Bitcoin. In my recent memory, this is the first time they buy over the weekend. We show up on Monday and the price is actually lower. He actually got it on sale. So congrats. However, he only bought 130 Bitcoin. It's the smallest one ever recorded since they announced their first purchase, 21,000 Bitcoin. And they paid $250 million for that back in August 2020. They now have 499,226 at average cost of $66K per Bitcoin. They only need 774 more Bitcoin, and then they're at 500,000 Bitcoin. Josh, what's the number you expect this decade? Can they hit 1 million by 2030? Is it going to really start slowing down since they bought 130 this time? I mean, are we going to struggle to hit 600K? What do you think here?
No, I mean, if he raises and completes a $21 billion raise or sell off for stock purchases, if Bitcoin goes to 150K, he'll raise 50 billion. He's going to keep buying and buying. I think he could hit 100. I don't know if he'll hit 1 million. I mean, I hope he doesn't hit 1 million. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I would prefer him not to have, whatever percentage of that is of the Bitcoin supply.
They've gotten 51,000 in 2025 thus far.
Yeah, so will it happen? Very possibly. I would hope that Bitcoin becomes a much more competitive state and we start seeing that centralized holdership kind of dilute, because now you're looking at the US and MicroStrategy holding literally 12 to 15% of the supply. It's kind of goes against a little bit of the underlying ethos. But I mean, ultimately, it's very possible he hits 1 million, especially if he's the only one that sees it. What's shocking to me is he's still the only corporation that's adding Bitcoin at this magnitude to their balance sheet. So as soon as you see an Apple or Microsoft start doing so and following suit as well, I think you're going to see a huge supply shock take place where it's going to be much harder for him to obtain that 1 million. I'm sure, though, Michael Saylor, he has that goal. But whether he ends up falling short and only hitting 750K, I mean, just talk about the matter of the fact the guy has 466,000 Bitcoin currently today. So he's already going to go down in history as one of the world's greatest, if not the world's greatest, or the next Warren Buffett, I would say, if Bitcoin does succeed.
I suppose he will. Which is wild because he just started buying in 2020, and he's going to be regarded as one of the best financial planners in mankind's history. So shows you the power of Bitcoin, and I need you to show me the power of the like button. I want you to smash that like button until your keyboard is in splinters, everybody, or your mouse, I guess, depending on how you hit it. All right, let's get a little hopium for the people. So we got done trying to fudge you out of your bags, or let you know that Wall Street's trying to fudge you out of your bags. So now we're seeing some bullishness. So we got a bullish cross with a 50% plus average returns flashing again, and this is a stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI tracks the momentum based on price movements relative to a range over a given period. So it kind of just looks at the previous action compared to today's action or current action. And historical fractures are showing the weekly stochastic RSI made the bullish cross and underwent the sharp price recovery within 3 to 5 months. So every single time we see a recovery, the gains average around 56% during the rebounds, including rallies that extended beyond the 90% return mark. That includes the 90% rally of 22, 92% rally, and 98% rally. If history repeats, we could see another parabolic rise by July or August. And I think Alex Becker has the best advice. Skim your feed turbo mode, cherry pick every bullish chart TA like this, ignore literally any other buyers, go full retard, and then leave profanity and slurs under a slightly bearish take. There's the bullish cross right there, and he's pointing out some of the other bullish crosses. That article is measuring short-term moves. Once you zoom out and look at the long-term moves, very, very bullish in the past. 2,000% pump, 1,000% pump. I sure as hell be happy if we continue the trend with about a 550% pump. I'll take a 420% pump at this point. So very, very bullish stuff on the RSIs. And I got another RSI thing. Let's see. You guys want to add something?
No, the bullish cross is what, when the 50-day crosses the 200-day?
Now, that's a stochastic RSI bullish crossover, and it's measuring. This is
the
a little
RSI.
bit more of like a two different things. Not so much daily moving averages on the price there, but I do have some RSI data here. So this is looking at weekly charts, and I've noticed some sort of trend. And shout out to Dan Gambardello. I saw this on Dan Gambardello's stream over the weekend here. If you notice, we create this RSI, and then we break the channel. Bitcoin ends up going on a tear. You can see we go straight up, happen right there. We go straight up, happen right there. Let's continue this trend, everybody. Here's another one. Here's another one. I know I'm trying to do my DJ Khaled impression right here. Another one. And then if we end up right here. Now, I'm not saying it's turning around right now, but we're seeing the beginning signs of hope. You can see the little bit of reversal. Or we might go back down. It could last a little bit longer, but we have gotten mid-market rallies that look like this in the past. And if you can see here, I don't think we've quite hit as parabolic high that we probably need to hit. I think we can go a little bit higher. We can definitely exceed the March 2024 euphoria. I think this is just the beginning stages of the market. That's my personal opinion, everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's looking really good. And the strength, Bitcoin, it looks like there's powerful big whales trying to push the price down. And it really, Bitcoin does not like to be under 80K for long. I mean, we've gotten down to 76, 75, or maybe we didn't even get 75, 79, 78, 76. And then it's recovered very, very quickly. And a lot of times when you see that type of price action with big weight trying to push it down, and then it quickly rebounds, that's the relative strength it's talking about. So to me, yeah, Bitcoin, I've never seen better things on Bitcoin. Josh makes up good points in the macro. These tariffs are going to go away. I really think this summer is going to be a big shift. A lot of people have their eyes on April 2nd to see if these decisions, if they're going to hold them in place.
I don't think they're going to go away. The risk will go through. The tariffs will go through on
Maybe plug your mic in.
Yeah, you're coming in really weird on your mic.
You sound like a dying Autobot.
Yeah, just unplug it and replug an Autobot. Yeah, that was a good. It sounds like your cable's not plugged in.
Let me try that. That's.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the movie where the robot starts to
There's
die,
always audio issues here
because like you feel like they're a human at that point.
Yeah.
Is that better? I just unplugged everything.
A little better, but we'll get through it.
I was saying, I was like, those reciprocal tariffs are going to go through. Those 100% will go through on April 2nd. So like I was just saying that I don't think the tariffs are going to get, those will be lifted necessarily.
All right. Yeah, people like your mic died. Something happened to you there over
I don't know, dude. It's just, there's always tech-ish. I didn't do anything, I swear. I was just sitting here. So it's just, we need to get out of this dungeon, dude, is what happens. But
all right, folks, we are updating the stream.
Studio. It looks I put up the lighting, got it. I was working hard this weekend.
That is a good reference. Josh talking through an 8-track created by Trent Reznor. Trent Reznor, famed Nine Inch Nails lead, but he also a music producer that did machine tech style sounds. Now let's talk about Trump, everybody. World Liberty bought more over the weekend. They bought $2 million worth of Avalanche and some Mantle 3 hours ago. This is overnight. This is on the 15th, so late Friday, while the world was sleeping, and they've spent $343 million on 11 different tokens. But every single one is in the red with a loss of $118 million. But Quentin pointed out he believes Trump's World Liberty Financial setting up for a massive alt season. Here is the breakdown. You can see ETH, Tron, stable, Ondo, shout out to Ondo, Athena, Move, Aave, Link, and Wrapped Bitcoin. And I think we have the latest moves on their Mantle as well. So it's gearing up for an alt season. And a lot of people are pointing at one of the tokens right here, Aave. Aave, this is pretty good analysis. Aave's making $100 million a year with $100 million treasury and non-active tokens, fully diluted value, $2.5 billion. The Aave valuation is half as much as the World Liberty Fi, POTUS's app built on top of Aave. Let that sink in, and to them, seems cheap. Now, there's two angles that this could be. World Liberty Fi, massively overvalued. Aave, undervalued. Can both be true? I would say, yeah, both can probably be true. But I think Aave also seems maybe a little undervalued once you start looking at this metric.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking the same thing. Both are true. I think World Liberty Fi, obviously, you've got a premium on the Trump name there. But Aave, again, if you believe in DeFi, in my opinion, Aave is one of the core backbones of it. I mean, there's a lot of other protocols. Not trying to say Aave is an end all be all, but I do think it's one of the ones that's going to be around for a long time. They've got a big treasury. They've got good revenue. This is the one that fits into the market that we're moving into, in the sense that if you're a sophisticated investor, you can look at these numbers and they make sense. This is going to be here for a long time. They have good leadership, they have good management, and they have good technology. And that is what's going to matter into the future. You have to have novel tech. You have to have good leadership and good structure, good corporate management, good treasury management, good business development, and they've got some of the best in all of those categories. So I'm a huge believer in Aave. Also, Aave, big part of Ethereum. And I saw some talks in the chat earlier about Ethereum, people saying they're about ready to sell all their ETH. I think Standard Charter even updated. They had a $10,000 ETH prediction by the end of this year that they've changed to, I want to say 4,000 or 6,000. Yeah, dramatically lower. I've got mixed feelings on Ethereum sometimes right now, but I'm not ready to bail just yet. I do think it's going to recover, but finding the top protocols on Ethereum that are going to be doing well is, I think, very, very, very important. And I did, to cover that Ethereum thing just real quick. I'm going to cover, I think it's this one. Yeah. Who's
ETH BTC? I was pulling it up while we were talking about Ethereum.
Yeah,
Wonder if there's a reversal in the cards.
It's not taking my screen for some reason, but basically ETH has captured almost 80% of the market when it comes to, and ETH and ZK Sync when it comes to RWAs, and RWAs is being one of the biggest factors into the market that we're going into. So you have to remember, all of this stuff is built on top of Ethereum. It doesn't work with Ethereum. That doesn't necessarily mean a ETH token price is going to go to the moon, but that means it's definitely not going to zero anytime soon. So I'm not ready to pull the plug on ETH yet. I still think it's going to recover, but once I see it moving back up towards 4,000, am I going to be thinking about some other faster horses? Probably.
Looking at ETH BTC, I'm not seeing the bull divs on the daily just yet, but folks, we are getting very close. If you look at the weekly, Ethereum dumping against Bitcoin, RSI looking oversold. But if we go to the daily, you can see the RSI potentially starting to reverse. We haven't seen the bull divs just yet. If you go to the 4 hour, you do see it. You can see price flat, RSI showing a lot of strength. Let's go up to the 8 hour. So that's the 4 hour. What about the 8 hour? 8 hour, we're seeing strength on the RSI. That's the 8 hour. What about the 12 hour? And on the 12 hour, seeing a vertical movement. We are getting bull divs on the 12 hour. We haven't seen it on the daily. Once we see it on the, oh, wait, I just got boomerized a little bit. I'm seeing a little bit of hope here, folks. Seeing a little bit of hope. So the price, could crash against Bitcoin a little bit further. but the sellers are running out of momentum. The buyers look like they're going to be stepping in. Now, we have seen it in the past. I do just want to warn you, we had a bull div that did not play out well. I think it was right around here. We got a little bit of movement. If we measure the move to the upside, yeah, we pumped a whopping 10%. So it could just be a small play. I'm not saying it's going to reverse forever, but we're at least due for a short-term reversal. That's the DZ said it. The DZ Stramus putting it down there, folks. So go ahead, sniff it where you biff it. All right, now let's talk about, I don't know why I said that. Poly market, we were talking about Fed rates earlier. Poly market users predict 99% chance no rate cut in 3 days. So we're pretty much just, I don't know if information is leaked, but I'm be willing to bet that we're not going to get any kind of rate cut on the 20th, but we are increasing the odds that we're going to see it.
Oop. No, we've also. Now I'm really messed it up. I accidentally pulled you
So
off.
we're just.
I gotta rearrange everything.
Is my
now.
mic still like just robotic?
Yep, sure is.
Oh my!
I was
Yeah.
gonna
How
say,
to-
and
I
I
guess I'm
definitely.
filtering again. I'll try it again.
Nah, it's fine.
We'll catch you on the flip side, baby.
I don't know. I mean, you can still talk. We can hear you. It's just.
I like the
little
thumbs
grainy.
up, thumbs. There you go. That sounded. You speaking to the aether.
I was gonna try to pull this up, but now I can't. Polymarket also says 100% QT ends by May. So the odds on Polymarket is 100% now at this point that the QT is going to be stopping. So we fixed that. There we go. All right.
Yeah, I'm at Polymarket right now, and just kind of look at these are the Fed rate bets that you can look at. You can see Fed rate hike of 2025. Are we going to get cuts? 10-year yield, and if we look at the May stats, just want to go the last week here. Yeah, we're seeing the no change increasing. Huh, that's interesting. And decreasing 25 basis points.
Test.
Still Autobot in decline. The batteries have leaked.
I have a phenomenal article here. I might need to send it to you.
Well, here we can pull the article up. We should be able to.
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to send it to you guys, and then I won't break everybody's ears.
All right. We do have Fed officially ending quantitative tightening. Money printer incoming. Prepare accordingly. We keep telling you about this. And that's what TJ was talking about. This is the Polymarket tweet, right? All right, so I got that for you. And if you look at China, Chinese M1 also pumping. We're about to get rich. I had to check myself. I was like, is this real? Is this true? Look at Chinese money printing. This is going back to 2023 right here. You can see it's just flat for 670 days, 22 months, and then boom, taking off like a rocket. So Chinese money printer, we can look at it right here. We have seen a slight decline, but that's this month right now. So this money takes a while to get into the ecosystem. Last time we saw the analysis, I think it was 58 days. So don't expect Bitcoin to pump. You see this. Oh, Bitcoin's going to pump today. You might get a short-term pump, but allow this money to wash through the system. It isn't something that takes overnight. It has to go through the banks, go into the big business. Maybe it hits the small man, and then you end up seeing the assets really start to move to the upside. And now we're seeing things like Goldman Sachs mentioning digital assets for the first time in their annual report, just seeing a little bit of bullishness. But now it's time to reveal the new top 3 Bitcoin whale. There's a new one of the world's richest entities. Any guesses, TJ? I think maybe we talked about it.
World's richest entities.
Number 3.
It's not a sovereign thing. It's an entity.
It is sovereign
Abu
in
Dhabi?
a way.
Abu Dhabi Sovereign Fund. They were buying this.
No,
weekend.
more from us. Keep going east.
Keep going east.
Ukraine.
Russia.
Keep going east.
Further east than Russia.
Yeah, there's not much.
South Korea.
Go north.
North Korea.
North Korea, everybody. I know it sounds wild. North Korea, according to Binance, I'd probably listen to them. Likely the world's 3rd biggest Bitcoin holder after the alleged Bybit hack. Now, remember, they stole a bunch of Ethereum, but we were covering it. What did they do with that Ethereum? They went to Thorchain and they started swapping the majority of it into Bitcoin. And so this was the group is called Lazarus. They stole 500,000 Ethereum valued at $1.4 billion. Of course, ETH started dumping. I think it ended up being worth 900 million. And then they've laundered the stolen Ethereum into Bitcoin allegedly. And so 3rd largest holder, North Korea. Now, is this diamond hands or paper hands?
Ooh.
It's an important question at this point.
That is a good question. I would say That's a good question.
How about selling cut off your hands? uh,
Yeah, I mean, it
Too
does.
real.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of both in the sense that, this isn't necessarily, it's going to be hard. These are watched coins at this point. It's going to be very hard to build a sovereign wealth treasury off of this and trade with it into global trade for the rest of time. So probably
If you were Russia, would you sell them electricity and Bitcoin?
You
I
mean
would.
for Bitcoin.
For Bitcoin, yeah. Sell them electricity, receive Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? I mean, I'd sell a lot if I can get paid in Bitcoin. So, I'm partial to that. So I don't know. That's an interesting question. I guess it's diamond hands. It probably helps.
I need to close this trade, everybody. I forgot to mention I did a 50x long accidentally, and we're just going to go ahead and close a $50 bill and profit there. That
Just
was an accident,
accidentally.
folks. Don't be a degen like DZ, all right?
You're just accidentally taking 50% wins left and right. Whoops, 140%. My bad.
I fell, everybody. I fell and I slipped and I hit the mouse. Josh, is North Korea going to dump their Bitcoin?
it's hard for them to. I have the robotic
That's a good
mic,
point.
so but it's hard for them to get access to liquidity to sell off that type of Bitcoin without being captured. And then on top of it, the Lazar group is under a microscope from our justice system's constantly monitoring them.
Oh man. Well, we do got a rumor that could tie in. Now, I don't think it would. But there's rumors that Elon Musk is going to invest 3% of his wealth in Bitcoin. I swear to God, if we see Lazarus Group Bitcoin leaving this whale wallet that interacted with Doge on some exchange, it is Elon. But I don't think that would happen. But there are rumors Elon Musk might invest 3% of his wealth in Bitcoin. What kind of God candle could we expect after this announcement? Are we looking at 10K, 5K, 20K? Chat, I want you to guess, how much does Bitcoin increase after this headline? What are you waking up? Are you seeing? I think the price where we're at might matter a little bit, but I'm definitely feeling double digit as far as the thousands above 10K. I don't know if we can hit 2025, but to me, this feels like a 10, 15K headline.
Yeah, I think so. I think if it were to be confirmed, I think Tesla obviously has some on their balance sheet, but if he was confirmed, came out
too.
Yeah, to say I'm putting a significant portion of my wealth into this publicly, or I already have, obviously anybody with big money like that would probably want to make their moves first before they publicly announce it, unless they have to.
Fink says all-time high. Can that happen?
What? All-time
high? Wake up to the next, say it woke up to tomorrow?
Yeah,
Could we see all-time high?
I think it's
in one day, from today?
Yeah, why not? I don't think so.
That'd be like a 25K candle is kind of what you're saying. It's within the realm of possibility, but it would have to take other things. Like if you got that on top of, somebody back, some rate cut. If you got a rate cut, an Elon announcement, some easing on some of the tariffs and some of this sort of stuff, then you could see it all at once. I think it could be a 15K candle. I think you could get a significant candle.
Nas
I feel like
says
his hype
Satoshi's
is just falling off a bit. I don't know if 10 billion is a huge purchase when MicroStrategy is announcing $20 billion purchases constantly, and they already have it on their balance sheet. But I think it would definitely pump the markets pretty hard.
All right. Well,
would be, though.
Speaking of pumping, from pumping to punching, the markets were punching very hard. A brawl broke out in Argentina's parliament on March 12th during a debate over the Libra token scandal linked to Javier Milei. We're not going to play all. Oh, wow. I don't know if you guys, did they get the audio there?
No.
Yeah, super. Yeah, they're just yelling. War right there, but very, very upset. I think he's like, I didn't know you were going to pull the liquidity. I don't know if that's what he's saying. That's a guess there. Probably a little bit. I'm sure he's calling him a scam or a fraud. But things turned heated. They had a little loan 1-6-21 moment over there. I got to be careful how I say words. If we want to hit that like button, kind of help us out there. Yeah, they had their own little brawl over Milei. Is Milei going to end up dethroned from this? I mean, can this spill into a potential impeachment? Should it? Maybe that's a better question. Should it be an impeachable offense?
Yeah. It should be an impeachable offense. It should be. They legitimately, and maybe not. I mean, he's got to defend himself. He's done a lot of good, but at the same time, he rugged a $4 billion project. And even if it was Hayden's fault primarily, something's got to be held accountable.
Yeah, I think
Unfortunately.
this is gonna hurt him pretty significantly. Obviously, there's a lot more new. I don't know a lot about the U.S. politics, let alone politics in Argentina and how above board everything is on the way up there and how strict they handle everything. I don't believe it was that he had much understanding, but it just the fact that if he was being manipulated to the level that that it appeared he was through this thing, that's obviously not a good look. So I do think there's going to be fallout from this. It is unfortunate to see because he was doing good work, and it's almost interesting. You wonder if it was almost an intentional attack vector, like what he was doing was pretty anti some of the central banking cartel. And
Saboteur playbook.
yeah, exactly.
Saboteur, yeah.
Let's find a weakness. Let's take him down. Let's get him out of being public favor. Let's get him out of being kind of champ. Like let's not forget, he was the guy who went to the World Economic Forum in Davos and called everybody out to their face on stage. Like he did that, and you guarantee that really irritated some very powerful people at the IMF and at other places around the world that have assets, you could say, that they could deploy against people to get them out of positions of power. So I do think this is probably going to be something that haunts him for a while. It's unfortunate to see. And that just goes to show, guys, when you're in this space and when you have large responsibility and big platforms, you need to think about your actions carefully. You need to take consideration into what you're doing. Think about the other people on the other side. This space came up in a move fast and break things kind of culture and environment, which is great. But we've gotten beyond that in a lot of ways. And sometimes if you move too fast, you're going to break too big of things that you may not be able to recover from.
Crazy stuff. And people are talking about riots. I haven't found any recent footage. I'm seeing things from February. I'm seeing things from August. I'm seeing things from early March. But yeah, if so, obviously we don't want any kind of violence or anything like that. There are ways to peacefully protest. Steal the lectern, though they might come after you. Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and take care of our audio issues. We do appreciate you hanging out with the Disco Fam. We're bringing you content 7 days a week. We're live 5 days a week at least. So go ahead, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to join our member streams on Friday, there's a join button down below. That's all we got. We're about to go hit the books, and I might have to go to Parliament, folks.